DevOps Info channel. Today we are going to take a look at one of the offering from Microsoft, which is the Global Secure Access. It's currently in the preview state, by the way. If you're asking me what it is all about, it's a kind of a network solution that's offering from Microsoft that helps in securing access and the improve visibility to the internet, Microsoft 365, SaaS applications, and the private applications that's been accessed by the users. As we all know, the nature of the work has evolved with individuals now operating from any locations rather than the traditional office settings. As applications and data has been migrated to the cloud, now there is a growing necessity for a modern network perimeter which is identity aware. This emergency category of network security is known as the security service edge. Within Microsoft Security Service Edge, the Microsoft Entra Internet Access, Microsoft Entra Private Access are the key components. Together, they form the Global Secure Access, which is currently in the preview. So it's the Microsoft Entra Internet Access and the Microsoft Entra Private Access. They form the Global Secure Access. It's a unified term that's referring to both services within the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. So this global secure access is founded on the fundamental principle of zero trust, which means like you'll be able to implement the conditional access policies, and then you would be able to emphasize, the importance of having the least privileges, doing an explicit verification, and also, you can do the presumption of breach monitoring and all the possibilities is capable of doing the global secure access. And it's one of the best optional feature which you can think of implementing in your organization of replacing your current traditional VPN. So having said that, let's take a look at how it is. If you see the image like which I have right now in front of my laptop, like this is the overall picture how the global secure access is defined. So let me little bit of zoom the screen so that it's visible. So if you see here, like, yeah, this is the global secure access, which is a kind of one platform which is present for all the applications. And how the verification is done: first it is going to verify the identities, and then it is going to verify the privileges based on the endpoints, and also if you have any kind of a private access for your application, which is SaaS, which is present even in your data center, then it is going to, if some access is coming from a different location, then it is going to assume as a breach. So basically it could be, helpful in securing access to your Microsoft 365, your internet, SaaS applications, your data center, as well as of any PaaS or IaaS applications which is hosted on a different public cloud providers. So the global secure access is a Microsoft security service edge solution. So the Microsoft Entra Internet Access and the Microsoft Entra Private Access, they are coupled together along with the Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, which is the SaaS security focus, which is a CASB from Microsoft. We all know there are different CASB in the Microsoft like BitGlass, non-Microsoft providers like BitGlass. Even Microsoft is having their own CASB, which is really good. It's been there for quite a long time. So they are uniquely built as a solution that converges network, identity, endpoint access to control and give a secure access from anywhere. So another important thing is like this CASB is delivered from the Microsoft Wide Area Network, which is present across the globe. If you want to see the Microsoft Wide Area Network, they are present across 140 country locations, and I have just taken the link of it. If you see like the Microsoft Entra Internet Access and the Microsoft Entra Private Access, currently is supporting in 140 location across the globe, and then they are present in 190 edge network locations. So if you take a look at the link which is present in Microsoft, this is the one where it is supporting across the globe. So having talked about the overview, let's take a look at the portal, how it is and how to get started with it. I have just made some demo, and then I played around with little bit. My initial impression is like, yeah, it's good, and then and like still little bit of improvements are there in terms of logging, where Microsoft is still developing, which is still in the preview. So let's take a look at how it is. So in order to get started with, like you need to basically log in into the Microsoft Enter Admin Center and then go to the Get Started. Like this is something, the dashboard, which you will take a look at it in few minutes. So it's loading the Get Started page. Let's wait for it to come back. Okay. So here, to get started with the global secure access, yeah, you need to basically go into the connect, and in the connect, you need to first do the traffic forwarding. That's the first and the foremost thing which you need to do. In the traffic forwarding, you need to enable the traffic for the Microsoft 365 profile, uh, and also for the internet. If you want to do the traffic forwarding for the internet, you should also do that. You're going to see that in few seconds. Yeah. So if you take a look at it, this is the Microsoft 365 forwarding profiles at the moment. So they are categorized into three sections. Like first one is the Microsoft 365 access profile. Second one is the private access, and the last one is the internet access profile. At the moment, I have not enabled the private access profile because I need to do some configuration. Probably we will take a look at it in the upcoming video. So if you take a look at in the Microsoft 365 access profile, the first and the foremost thing is, in order to activate this, you need to have the Microsoft 365 P1 license. Yeah, Microsoft P1 license. That's very important. If you don't have a P1 license, you wouldn't be able to do it. And then the default Microsoft 365 traffic policies, we will take a look at it. And then the moment when you click on the Microsoft 365 access profile, then you will have option to basically monitor the traffic for Exchange Online, OneDrive, and SharePoint. The Teams is still under work because Teams also consumes the UDP traffic, and I think Microsoft would be still needing to little bit put some efforts and work on it to bring that. So if you see here, it's for Exchange Online. If I basically expand it, it's giving me all the FQDNs, the ISP subnet, and here there is an option where you could basically forward, or you can just bypass. It's up to you, but I recommend, if you want to test this feature out on your development. And one main disclaimer, since it's in the preview, I always recommend to test this only on a development or a test run, and please don't ever try this directly on a production channel or a production environment. Yeah. So here, if you see, these are the rules. If you can see, the protocol type is TCP, so it's very clear. Yeah, Microsoft is still working on enabling this for a UDP, which is heavily required for Microsoft Teams. So if you take a look at the SharePoint Online, yeah, these are the URLs that is required, that that can be forwarded. And the last one is the Microsoft 365 common endpoints, like which is used for authentication, and then for the registration service. So these are all the things which is monitored. And then when you go back, just a second. And at last, you would be able to link a conditional access policies. This is the really a nice part which I like it. I can show that in a minute. On second, conditional access policies, and like this policy can be applied to the global secure access. Yeah, you could see it's in the previous state, and that's the reason we see it. And you are selecting the Microsoft 365 traffic, and then you can set a control. Like for example, in my case, I have set a control like the users require an MFA when they try to access the Microsoft 365 from any locations. And also you can set a sign-in frequency, which is for 2 hours. I've just set it, for example, and then turn this on, which is good. And then require MFA, and also you can set other controls like the device to be marked as compliant, or device should be Microsoft Entra hybrid joint, which is good. So this is the thing that would help in further securing the connection. And going back further to the Microsoft 365 Access profile, the last thing which you have is the remote network assignment, which is really good. In the remote network assignment, you should define a remote network from where the traffic is coming. In my case, I have selected as West Europe, and those traffic would be monitored for this traffic forwarding. Yeah, so all these things are really important to monitor the Microsoft 365 Access profile. And uh, and for the internet access profile, that is also the same. Like you can target it to all internet traffic except Microsoft 365, because you have a separate profile for Microsoft 365. And then you can also link the conditional access policies, which I have not done it right now. And apart from that, there is, like the moment when you do this, the next step which you need to do is very important part is like you need to download the client. And after downloading the client, you have to install it and configure it. Only then it's going to work, because this is something like a client which you're downloading it, and then you're forwarding the traffic, so that you know the Microsoft uh, friend or service, or the service which is responsible for this, receives the connection, and then it would be able to route the traffic to the appropriate destinations. So let's give it some time. I see it is a little bit slow because of the fact, it's I'm recording it from my this is I'm recording from a tablet, so that's the reason it's a bit slow here. Let's give it few more seconds for it to come. Yeah, I think this is not because of the this feature, because I'm recording it from a tablet. So you see here's the Windows client, which you need to download. That is something for Android, iOS, and Mac OS, yeah, which we are not going to take a look at it right now. The main system requirement for Windows is like you need to have a minimum Windows 10 11. It should have a Microsoft Entra join to the tenant where you're configuring this, and also your device needs to have the local admin permissions to do this. Uh, and the moment when you do this, you also need to set up the remote network, as I stated earlier, because this remote network is very much important for Microsoft to know from where uh, the traffic is coming. Let's give it few more seconds. My apologies, because I was not able to set this up on my workstation. I have it configure it to a different tenant, so that's the reason I don't want to mess up with that. So I've just configured this on my tablet, so that's the reason it's having a little bit of s- lesser compute, and that's the reason all these delays happening when I start up the recording. Okay, so you see, like I have defined the remote network. Just set one forwarding profile, and after that, it should be able to route it. So the moment after you install and configure the client, it is something like a VPN client which should be running it on your device. So I wanted to show you something, like the moment when you download install it, it would challenge you for the authentication, where you need to enter your uh, enter email address, credentials, and then you should complete your second factor authentication, and then it's configured. In the advanced diagnostic, I wanted to show you something which is very nice. So here, this is the client where it's forwarding all the traffic to the global secure access. Let's see. So if you see the overview, this is the username, uh, and then the forwarding profile I wanted to show. Let's give it a refresh. Yeah, these are the Microsoft 365 rules and the internet access rules. If you see, this is the Microsoft 365 rules that's currently going through, and internet access rules, these are the internet access rules that is also going through. And if you see the health check, this is also very nice. It says like the device is Microsoft Entra joined. Basically, if you want to have this work, then you should make sure that all these are showing green. In my case, something like DNS is disabled as OS. IPv4 preferred. My connection is IPv6. That's the reason it's showing over here. So Microsoft will come up with enabling the IPv6 for this. Yeah. So this is what the health check, which you can do a quick thingy. like after you're configuring, yeah, configuring this client is also super easy. You can, create a package in the Intune, push it for all the devices which you wanted to test it on the test environment and see the results, uh, which is good. So the moment when you have set it up, the next thing is like you come to the dashboard, which is really nice. It would start collecting the traffic that is coming from your device and then show up over here. So in my case, I have enabled it for the internet, and also I have enabled it for the Microsoft 365 profile. So I would be able to see the traffic that's been consumed for the Microsoft 365 as well as for the internet. So let's give it some time. Okay. So if you see here, this is the overall snapshot. It says like, okay, the traffic is coming from 152 destinations, one user, one device. So if you see, this is also giving some cross-run access. I simulated some test scenarios for showing, recording the traffic that's coming from the cross-run. And then also you see the top used destinations, and also device state. Uh, if you take a look at the top used destination, here there is something called view all destinations. I can click on the view all destinations, and then it would give me what are the destinations that has been accessed by this user and the device. Okay, so here it's a graph. Of course, I accessed the graph, and then this is my another tenant which I use for the cross-tenant access. It is also showing, and the networking protocols TCP, and then yeah, outlook.office.com. So if I see, it also shows district tenant and then view details. On a further deep drill down, we could see that it is also showing up the source IP, which is really, really good, right? Because imagine a scenario where like your connections are going through a proxy, or it is going through a firewall or a load balancer, where like usually the source IP is not hidden, it's masked. Like the source IP would be like the IP of your load balancer, or the IP that is being masked for your connection. So in this case, like even Microsoft, since it's having a client which is just installed in your laptop, and then basically it's able to detect the source IP, which is really, really a cool feature if you want to troubleshoot during connectivity issues. I really like this feature. And going further, this is also like when you go back, and then there is like an option to look for the internet logs. Like when you go to the dashboard further, there is an option called internet tab, and in the internet tab you'll be able to basically see the connections that's going towards the internet. So let's say like here there's internet access. So in the internet access, when you click on further, I've just opened this for showing up quickly. So here it says all connections, internet access, private access, of course it's zero. We have not enabled it. And then Microsoft 365 access. So when you go to the internet access, this is the destination snapshot. Like, yeah, I have access to Google, I have access to Facebook, all this stuff, whatever I have access as an end user, it's also showing. And further, drill down of like, let's say if I'm going to see from where I'm accessing the Spotify, it is also showing the source IP, which is really good. So here in this case, uh, the Spotify from his laptop, which is also showing the egress IP, which is really, really good in case of troubleshooting. Yeah, this is my current public IP address, and that's the reason showing us the current source IP, which is coming for accessing this. Yeah. Overall, this is good and also really helpful during the troubleshooting scenarios. And overall in the dashboard, this is really helping, like this helping you to the source access and also the cross tenant access. It is giving you what are the total session that's coming in terms of the distinct tenants. Yeah, I've configured the cross tenant only for one tenant, so that's the reason it's showing distinct tenants one, which is really cool. And then the unseen tenants one, I'm not sure to what's showing up on the unseen tenants. Maybe it's showing the exchange query dot on, which is my default domain. And then the users, devices, how many users and how many devices are actually using the cross-tenant access, which is really good. So this is giving an overall view of how many sessions are consumed in the cross-tenant. And you also see the active devices, inactive devices, and there are a few more things which we could expect that Microsoft would bring over here. And the next thing is like the enriched Microsoft 365 logs. Here, Microsoft is planning to enrich the Microsoft 365 logs with more clarity, like giving more transparent of the source from where the originate is coming. So that is something which we need to enable on the global settings. Basically, you have to come to the logging and then basically enable the enriched Microsoft 365 logs. So here, for some reason, it is not showing. I'm not sure. I will check this and then probably update it on a next session. We will have a more deep dive on the private and the logging part. What are the features that's available in the logging part? So here also you have the configuration, connect Office 365 activate the logs, which is really good. The Teams is also coming soon. So which is like Microsoft is also focusing on the UDP traffic, which is going to be really, really helpful when troubleshooting on Microsoft Teams audio, video connectivity issues. Yeah, the media logs is really, really helpful doing this. So yeah, let's see what it is going to be coming over here. And also the last one which I liked it is like the workbooks. It is more or less similar to the Microsoft Sentinel workbooks, like through which we will be able to create our own dashboards, and by using the own dashboards you will be able to provide basically a reporting feature, and then see the overall status of your tenant, how it is performing in general with regards to the network security. And last but not the least, let's finish the summary by an identity aware, a cloud-based security feature offering from Microsoft, where it has all the key features that we could see right now on the screen, which is like prevents torrent tokens from being replayed, enrich logs with network. That's the really one which I'm interested, and deploy side by side with a third-party SSE solution, apply universal conditional access policies. That's also one of the key feature which is really helping in securing the endpoints and bringing into the zero trust framework model. So overall, an identity of a cloud-based security infrastructure is becoming increasingly necessary for today's workplace, as more and more data and apps are moving to the cloud, and then people are moving to the hybrid environment, and security service edge is a new class of network solutions that coming from everywhere. So SASE architecture is main goal to provide a seamless and secure user experience, maintaining an optimal connectivity. So let's wait for more feedbacks from Microsoft and then improvement on this. And in the next video, I will also put a lot about the private network access on this part and more about the loggings. Thank you and hope you enjoy this video.